night with family and friends. Go bowling.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome out here to tonight, as we are at the Lanier Motorplex in Lanier here in Georgia, as it is the penultimate race of the season for the North-South Racing Street Stock Series presented by Sandi Paws Rescue. Sandi Paws Rescue is 100% or 100%. Sorry, Kelly. 100% ran by volunteers as they help our furry friends, four-legged friends, dogs and cats, to provide safe shelter, medical care, rehabilitation, and loving homes, forever homes for animals in need. If you would like to help them out or help out an animal in need, head on over to sandipaws.org to find out how you can get involved. Kelly, tonight we will see who's going to win our final short track or final short race of the season, as the season is winding down with just one more race here to go this evening, or this season after tonight, as we are in Braselton, Georgia, just shy of 50-mile race here tonight, where we've had 5 races, 2 street stock races here, but we've going to be a good night for racing here at Lanier.
Yeah, Lanier always provides some great racing. It is a short track, as you mentioned, real bull ring, and you pretty much get off the corner and immediately have to set up for the next corner. And I think tonight's going to be one of those tracks where the drivers really have to watch their right rear. The car feels a little bit loose off the corner, especially if you just mash on that throttle. And if you get on the throttle a little too early, that wall on the exit of both 2 and 4 will come out and get you.
And right now, the current track record being held by Brian Hacker. We can tell you that so far in practice, there's about 9-10 cars that have gone faster than the current track record. So will that fall here tonight? We will find out. Heading into here to tonight, though, Brian Hacker has increased his points lead to 14 over Scott Austin, but the points are not settled yet. Just 33 points separating your top 4 here as they come in. Dustin Shepard sliding into that 5th spot after a good run last week. So, Kelly, these points really get tight there with Brian Hacker and Scott Austin at the top of the pylon.
Yeah, and you also have to remember Ryan Johnson's only 1 point back of Scott Austin, so really it is still up in the air of who's going to be our champion this season. But Brian Hacker, if he has a solid race tonight, can really solidify his lead and make the other drivers really have to hope for him to have a very poor final race.
Yeah, and 1 week ago, they round out the month of October, Gary Eschen picked up the win. So Eschen will be headed to the back of the field here for tonight's racing with the shotgun rule, but he can get those points. And Gary's had one of those, he's had a fast car all season long, just lady luck not on his side. So that's how we look coming in here tonight to Lanier. This racetrack going to go away in the real world side of things. So another track, Kelly, that unfortunately will have to live on in the virtual world that we love here at iRacing.
Yeah, it's great that we still are able to enjoy tracks like this that are no longer on this in the real world, and even different versions of it. You can basically race what this track originally was, a dirt track way back in the day, also on iRacing.
Absolutely, and the dirt version is one of my favorite versions. This racetrack is just a lot of fun. It's very technical, but I think we're going to see some 2 and 3 wide racing here tonight as the crowd files in. It should be standing room only for the Sandi Paws Rescue Street Stock Series, round number 9 of 10 here tonight, and it should be a good one as they head into this one. And by my calculations, Kelly, I think only Eschen is the only one getting the EOL tonight, so we'll be able to play along with that. But what are you looking forward for out of this one? If you're Brian Hacker, do you just try to solidify a top 5 headed into next week's finale?
I mean, the smart play is definitely to just get a good points buffer, not have to do anything risky or dangerous. But knowing Brian Hacker, he's going to be going for the race lead. He's going to be gunning for the win. So I would expect him to be fighting up at the top of the field.
All these drivers got their mark on them right now. Dustin Shepard fastest in practice, which is about to get the check flags. Checkered flag will be coming out on this practice session. We'll head into Al's Speed Shop Fast Time Awards qualifying here this evening. I'd also like to thank our friends over at Mad Plowing, as they are your go-to landscaping and snow removal company in Oregon, Wisconsin, as they are tonight being going to present our choose cone and our caution flags if we are so happen to have them. But give them a call today, 608-217-3528, for all of your snow removal needs. Unfortunately, Kelly, the snow is coming. It is getting that time of year up here in the central north and northeast, northwest, all over the place. The snow is coming.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a bad one here this year, so we'll be waiting to see. But we got cars filing out onto a nice, clean racetrack here tonight, as we've got a few drivers getting their car up to speed, up to temperature. I think Janin is the first one out there. Normally, he is one of those guys that immediately just jumps out there and tries to get a lap down as soon as possible. And with how short this track is, he's almost finished his first lap. Let's see what he is going to put up on the board as the first time to beat. And it's going to be a 14.732. So we'll see if he goes any faster on a second lap. Brandon Elvis also coming across the line. He's going to set a 14.489.
And that is a brand new track record, I do believe, based on our notes here.
Yes, that will be a new track record. And as you said, we are not surprised by that. The drivers were fast in practice. The track is very quick here tonight. Randy Nichols is going to go second fastest with a 14.534. Gary Eschen also getting up there with a 5.44. Rodney Huntoon 5.94. A few drivers here coming up now. Josh Cole putting in a 6 fast time. Travis Sukup improving a little bit. Jeff Bergener now jumping up to 4th. Still no one able to get anywhere close to what Brandon Elvis put down.
Now Brian Troyer and that Hoosier number 36 coming off of turn number 4. He'll see the white flag fly is lap number 1 not counting for Troyer. So regrouping, we'll see how this 36 car goes. Always love the Hoosier sponsored car. Those beautiful purple, white, and black cars. Troyer comes across the line and he'll go 11th quick, the fastest man in practice. Now up onto the racetrack, that would be the Zufab Garage, number 89 of Dustin Shepard. And Shepard will come and get his green flag lap. As Brandon Elvis still sits on top of the scoring. Hold on to that Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award, but Shepard looking sporty up off of turn number 4. Shepard gonna go top of the board with a new track record, 14.465 for Dustin Shepard.
Yeah, very quick lap from him, and it was close. I thought he got into the wall coming off of 4. I think he barely maybe had an inch of space between himself and the wall, so he was able to keep it off, able to keep that time. Adam Gable, though, he's going to come up a little short, 14.516 for him. That'll be good enough to get him into the redraw, most likely, unless a few more drivers are able to knock him out. Brian Hacker, though, he's out on the racetrack about to put down his first lap. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. And only 7th fastest for Brian Hacker, so a 14.565. And we've seen pretty much every time that the driver's first lap is their fast lap, unless they take a slow lap to get the tires up to temperature. And that is going to be it for Hacker. So he pulls it in. He is at risk of being bumped out of the redraw.
Yeah, and Hacker got loose off of turn 2. So we watched the 5 of Scott Austin. He comes into the points second overall this season as he comes across the line. Austin going to go 4th quick as Guillaume Fortin, the driver out of Quebec, goes second with a 14.484. is Braden Campbell now up onto the racetrack with that 33, and he's got quite a few fast times this season, as he will be our 20th driver to take time here tonight in AL Speed Shop qualifying. Up off of turn number 4.
Cross line, what is it going to be for Campbell? Oh, only a 14.805, so something probably went wrong with that lap time for him. That is an unusually slow lap time for Braden Campbell, so he'll be one of the drivers having to claw his way up from the back.
And right now, it looks like no activity on the racetrack with 30 seconds left to go. We've got Lewis Flowers and Amos Odegaard in the pit area. We are 21st and 22nd cars that are signed in here to do racing tonight, but unable to make it out here for it. So I'm going to call it right now, Kelly. Dustin Shepard going to earn that fast time qualifying top of dog award by L Speed Shop. Dustin Shepard with a brand new track record, 14.464.
Yeah, we're just going to gather these drivers up now and get ready for our redraw. So if you have not joined us here before, top 8 will get an opportunity to pick a number, and they will pick what that number will mean. Will give them their starting spot between 1 and 8. So it could shake things up a little bit.
And tonight's top 8 redraw is brought to you by J&D Farms. J&D Farms is not your average sponsor. It is the brainchild of self-proclaimed crazy redneck who just thought iRacing was cool and wanted to see his name on the broadcast. I respect that. You respect it. We all respect it. So whether you're pulled out lucky number 1 or get stuck in the dreaded 8, remember it's all thanks to J&D Farms. Supporting racing, supporting the show, and officially a legend in the North-South Racing League. So we thank them for being our redraw sponsor, Kelly, as our cars are out on the racetrack getting there. As we will head to this top 8 redraw, we'll take a look and see who is going to be out first. We know Dustin Shepard will be there, laying down a fast one here tonight. As we will talk to the driver of the number 89, Dustin Shepard, with a brand new track record here tonight, 14.465. What about Lanier? This seems to suit you here, sir. Got a copy with us, Dustin?
Can you hear me?
Got you now, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I guess my button wasn't working.
Well, you set the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award, man. This track really seems to suit your driving style.
Yeah, if I can keep the rear tires under, I mean, I should be okay. Like I said, just this track's a rhythm track, and I've always, like I said, I'm fast for a few laps everywhere I go. It's just I put it together. So, I mean, like I said, I didn't think that time would stick. You know, I figured Hacker would have a shot, G would have a shot, because they went after I did. Like I said, I felt good beating Brandon, but I had those two guys behind, you know, still to go, so I was worried. I guess Hacker hit the wall or got loose, I don't know. Like I said, hopefully, I'll probably draw 8th, so it'll put me in the back, in mid-pack anyway, so.
Well, you get the pick of the litter 1 through 8. Which number would you like out of the lucky hat here?
Let's go 3.
Number 3. Well, it's going to slide you back a little bit. It'll be the outside of row number 3, P6. The outside going to come in, you think, tonight?
It could, but I said I played around on the outside in practice last night and tonight, and it seems a little tight for me up there, so I'll end up cooking my right front. So I would have really rather start on the inside, at least for the beginning of the race. So, I mean, like I said, but it'll probably work in late, and it'll be a good 2-lane track, but so I struggle on the high side.
All right, so well, we wish you the best of luck here tonight. Thank you for talking to us, and your drawing spot is courtesy of J&D Farms.
Thank y'all.
Dustin Shepard going to roll off P number 6 after setting fast time in qualifying. And next up, Kelly, you're going to talk to the Hugo Paquette Motorsports, number 13 of Guillaume 4N.
Catching up now with 13 of Guillaume Fortin. Guillaume, Lanier seeming to be suiting you here tonight.
Yeah, hopefully everything stay on pace and I can stay up front tonight because I don't have any luck this year in those cars.
Well, hopefully you can find some luck here tonight. But first off, we're going to test your luck with our redraw. So number 3 has already been taken. Other than that, what would you like?
I'll go with number 5.
Number 5 coming off the board, and you'll slide back a little, but it'll be an outside row 2. So how are you thinking though the outside's going to work here early on in this race?
Oh, I think for the first few laps it's going to be the bottom dominant, but it's also going to be important to stay up front because the track position is going to be really huge tonight, since it's really hard to pass at Lanier, but hopefully we can make something work on the outside.
Well, a P4 start for you is up at the front. Hopefully you can hang on to that and maybe improve that a little, and maybe we'll be talking to you a little bit later on. So good luck to you, Guillaume.
Thank you, guys.
So Guillaume draws number 4, and he'll be starting back there, but we'll see who is going to be claiming that pole position. It's still out there, Al.
Yeah, the pole still available out there. As our next driver is the Elvis Coleman Racing, number 4 of Brandon Elvis. And Brandon back in the J&D Top 8 redraw. What about Lanier? Do you find that you like or find it more challenging of a racetrack?
I actually like this place pretty good. It's a good rhythm racetrack, which is kind of what I like to race on. Both ends are very similar on this racetrack, and but if you can set a good rhythm, you can probably find yourself close to the top towards the end of the race.
One of that is the most important part here is keeping those tires underneath you as well. We hope to see you up front and talk to you a little bit later on in the show. But before we can do that, we got to get you your starting grid spot. 4th and 6th place already gone. Those were numbers 3 and 5. Everything else is available. What number would you like?
Let's go with the 4.
The 4, and that's going to move you up to the inside of the front row. Pole position for Brandon Elvis. How do you like that, my friend?
I like that a lot. Track position is going to be really important here tonight, so hopefully we can keep it the whole night.
All right, sir. We wish you the best of luck here tonight. We'll talk to you hopefully at the end of the Peachtree 125, but thank you for your time. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Kelly, unlike last week, the front row half full after just our 3rd driver.
Yeah, we're going to keep moving along and get to one of our championship contenders, catching up now with Scott Austin. And Scott, what are you expecting here from Lanier?
Hopefully some good old short track racing.
Well, it is a tight little bull ring. There probably will be some good elbows out short track racing, but before we can get to that, we got to get through our redraw here for you. So your numbers that you can get are 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8. The pole has been taken, but you still have P2 and P3 available.
Let's try lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. It will be an inside starting spot for you. It'll be P5, and a few drivers have been mentioning that bottom side's going to be dominant early on. So how important do you think it is to get that spot?
Yeah, I think it'll be nice to start there, not have to drift back right off the bat and then have some more work to do. So I think that'll put us in a good spot.
Well, let's see if you can convert that into a good finishing position, maybe chip away at that points lead that Brian's got. So good luck to you, Scott.
Thanks, you guys.
So Scott Austin, he'll be starting in P5 here tonight, Al.
Yeah, P5 for the car number 5. Up next, the driver out of Texas, the driver of the 69 car, Randy Nichols, and qualifying in that 6th spot overall. But how tricky is tonight going to be to keep these tires underneath these race cars?
It's gonna be it's gonna be some work, because I think you just kind of cook the right rear a little bit and you're just gonna be all over the place. So yeah, we'll just see how it plays out.
Well, you've had a fast hot rod these last few weeks here. The outside front row still available. Numbers to choose from are 1, 2, 6, or 8. What number would you like?
Let's go with 8.
8, and that's going to be the outside front row. Do you like the outside starting spot? We're hearing that track position might be key. You think you'll be able to keep it starting second?
Maybe. I mean, I think the inside line is really the only line to really get around this track, but maybe run at that high side. I don't rear at the right rear as quick, but we'll see.
All right, sir. Well, thank you very much. Best of luck here to you tonight as we move on in the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw.
You missed one there, Al.
I did. I feel bad. I just realized that.
I was checking my list here, and we have gone past Adam Gable, but we're going to catch up now with Adam Gable. And Adam, we're going to have to be quick here. We are running out of time. We've got 1, 2, and 6 here available for you.
Let's do 6.
I'll take number 6 off the board. It's going to be inside row, and drivers are talking that that's going to be important, but it is going to be P7 here tonight. Do you think the inside row is going to be the deciding factor, though?
Yeah, inside's gonna be where you want to be tonight.
All right, we'll see if you can convert that inside starting spot to a good finish here tonight. Good luck to you, Adam.
All right, thanks.
So we got Adam Gable starting back there in P7, 3rd and 8th, still available though, Al.
Yes, sir. And we will talk now to Jeff Bergner, if you give me permission. Is that the right one? I apparently can't.
That is the right one.
Can't follow a list tonight. Oh, Lord. Jeff Bergner going to come into the booth here as he qualified in that 8th spot and has a chance to start 8th or start in P number 3. We'll get that out of there. Would you like the number 1 or the number 2?
Let's go with the number 2.
And Jeff Bergner going to start on P number 8, right where he qualified. So forming up will be easy for you on the pace lap, but starting outside that, on the outside, we're hearing the inside is where you would like to be.
It is, but we have 125 laps here. I'm hoping the top side might be a little easier on tires because you're not going to be able to pit without going laps down.
Well, we wish you the best of luck here tonight. We know you're going to put on a show. We always look for that silver chrome car out there. It's always a good-looking race car. Best of luck here for you tonight.
Thanks again, guys. Have a great night.
And Jeff Bergner will roll off there, which, Kelly, the guy that loves to talk to you but hates to talk to me, is going to like the news you're about to give him.
And I think the news was just spoiled a little bit there by Robbie Clavey making the announcement. And Brian, looks like you're going to be starting 3rd here tonight just by the virtue of all the guys leaving that spot for you.
Well, I'll have to thank him later. I'll take 3rd for sure with the qualifying effort we put in tonight. We probably didn't deserve to be in this thing in the first place.
Well, you have kind of fallen your way up into a good starting spot. Hopefully you can convert that into a good finishing spot and maybe make a good points buffer for yourself going into the last race of the season. But we'll let you go and let you get ready for this race, Brian.
That's the plan. Thanks, guys.
So Brian Hacker rolls off in 3rd place, and that is going to do it for our J&D Farms redraw. And we're going to be heading to the grid in just a few short seconds.
That we will. We thank J&D Farms. You are truly a legend. And we thank you for being our top 8 redraw here tonight. As the field starts to populate up onto the racetrack, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup. Starting on the pole will be car number 4 of Brandon Elvis. Outside of him, the number 69 of Randy Nichols. Brian Hacker and Guillaume Fortin will roll off in row number 2. Scott Austin in the number 5 will roll off 5th. And outside of him, our fast man here tonight, Dustin Shepard, will roll off 6th. 7th starting spot will be Adam Gable. And outside of him, the number 21 of Jeff Bergner. Matt Cook Rodney Huntoon will roll off in spot number 10th. 11th will be Matt Cook and Ryan Johnson rounding out your first 12 starters.
Travis Sukup will be rolling off in 13th. Outside of row 7 will be the 09 of Josh Cole. Josh Nelms will be on the inside of that next row in 15th. 16th we'll see the 55 of Scott Negus. Dan Janjanin rolls off in 17th. Robbie Clavey we've got here in 18th. 19th sees the 33 of Braden Campbell. Brian Troyer, the last of our qualifiers, will be in 20th. And then we have Lewis Flowers rolling off in 21st, and the 60 of Amos Odegaard appearing to have not made the call to grid.
So the field starts to roll around here as Brandon Elvis assumes his pole position here tonight, Kelly, as we get ready to go with the Peachtree 125, the penultimate race in the season. Next week, we crown a champion, but will we see championship implications tonight? We will find out. The iRacing.com pace truck about ready to go into the opening in 3 and 4. Peels off the racetrack. Barney with the green flag in his hand. Green is up, and we are racing here tonight at Lanier.
Brandon Elvis leads them down through turns 1 and 2. There looks to be maybe a bit of a gap that we can see that 69 car slot into, but Brian Hacker immediately surging forward, and he's going to block Randy Nichols to the outside. That inside line, it was very important according to some of these drivers, but Nichols now able to shade down, find himself on the bottom. Hacker now side by side with Guillaume Fortin as the drivers still try to fight their way towards that yellow line. Just behind Hacker is his teammate and championship rival, the 5 of Scott Austin. He's looking to make a move around that 2 car and try to make a good attempt to chip away at that points lead.
And a very good qualifying effort by Scott Austin, who normally self-proclaimed struggles with the qualifying and finds himself early up in the top 5. So we'll see what kind of night he can do. His good battles even towards the back. Matt Cook still side by side with the 12 of Rodney Huntoon. And how about Huntoon's new paint job? That's looking pretty sharp. That orange and white number 12 working the outside. He's got Travis Sukup right behind him with the 38 of Ryan Johnson running there in the 12th spot.
Yeah, Johnson, another one of these drivers looking for the championship. However, he's finding himself in a bit of a pit here early on. He is far back in this field, sitting in 13th right now, and he's going to have a lot of ground to make up if he wants to have a chance at the championship next week.
Everyone kind of getting into that single file formation. Fortin, though, still hung up on the outside. He has fallen back to the 7th spot. Thought he had a gap. Gable's going to try to close it. It looks like this time off turn before, the 13 QC able to get down to that all-important inside lane as they work up the backstretch in the turn number 3. In the field, kind of getting single file on it out right now. Kelly, a little bit deeper. How about Scott Negus? He's side by side with a 33 at Campbell.
Yeah, Negus trying to work that outside lane. We have seen the outside so far tonight has not been able to get anything done. But the banking does help the outside a little bit here and can allow these guys to maintain momentum on these short little straightaways with these cars that have such low horsepower. But you've not seen the outside lane still not coming in quite yet as the 33 of Campbell starts to slowly get ahead of him.
And Josh Cole right there behind them in that 09 looking for some movement to the inside lane as they work through the corner. This is the battle for the 15th spot as Negus comes back on the outside. And as this run continues, I think that outside lane is going to start to be where you want to be. The inside lane going to heat up, get a little bit greasy, and we could really see some 2, maybe 3 wide racing as Gary Eschen, last week's winner, struggling to come up through the field, only has made it up to the 18th spot after starting back in 21st.
Yeah, however, the inside lane was going to be helped by the fact that it is late at night. It is nearing midnight here, and the track temperature is only barely above the ambient air temperature. Oh, contact a little bit in the top 5 there. I think that was Bergner getting into Shepard a little bit. Big wiggle from Shepard, but he's able to catch his car, and that has given an opportunity for Guillaume to get underneath Bergner and try to advance his position and start his climb back up towards the front of the field. Guillaume was talking earlier tonight about how hard it is to pass here, so he has been gifted an opportunity to at least get 1 spot.
He's working as we go on board with the driver. Guillaume Fortin as he works here currently in that 6th position. Side by side, just close quarter racing as you see it. And it just here, the discipline in the throttle, and they're going to try to go 3 wide. Gable thought about it, thought better of it, tucks it back in line. Going to see who is going to come out with the momentum here with this battle for that 6th spot. Bergner hanging tough up on the right rear quarter panel as he comes off the corner, draws even once again. Fortin really down low digging as he makes a light contact with Bergner. And it's starting to stack him up as they work around the 36 of Brian Troyer. And Troyer early into the pits, Kelly, he comes back out. He is about 7 laps down at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if he had some trouble early on, maybe caught the wall and had to fix a little bit of damage, but Guillaume going to finally get around Jeff Bergner. And as you look, though, if you look from a high camera angle, you can see a number of dark streaks coming off of these corners as these drivers are really cooking their right rear tires, trying to get as much power down as possible. Now Matt Cook getting shuffled out of line. Rodney Huntoon able to get past him, and now, unfortunate for that 15 car, he's got a couple of cars on the inside trying to get past. Travis Sukup, the first of them, trying to get himself in the top 10. Ryan Johnson coming along with him. He's just got past Josh Nelms. And now, caution is going to stop this run. Looks to be, Randy Nichols facing the wrong way on the back straightaway.
Randy Nichols on the inside of the backstretch gets the Cintas 69 pointed back in the right direction as our yellow flag will fly. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Nichols. Just caught the back end of it there. Let's see, back here. Oh, maybe some contact. It's hard to tell from that angle, Kelly. It doesn't go back far enough, but maybe some contact between himself and Brian Hacker. It's hard to...
Yeah, there was some contact with Brian Hacker. Hacker has claimed the caution, so he'll be moved to the back of the field, and this is the opportunity that his championship rivals were looking for. And that's going to give him and give these guys a chance to maybe get a few points on him. We'll see if Brian Hacker can make the climb through the field. Hacker actually coming down to the pit road, I believe, so maybe getting this car fixed up, maybe giving a splash of fuel early on here.
Yeah, maybe just enough to get to the end of this one. Already 14 laps in. Not a bad play. You gotta go to the back of the field, maybe get yourself some laps as the field starts to get ready to go, as they've gone through the Mad Plowing Choose cone. Are you ready for winner, Kelly?
I think I am, and yeah, just going back to what you were saying, it is a good strategy call from Brian Hacker. I took a quick look at his car. He took right sides on that pit stop there, so if he's moving to the back of the field, he might as well get some fresh tires on those right sides and maybe give himself a better chance of clawing through this pack.
We will have to keep an eye on him as the field rolls through turns 1 and 2 and back into the Sandi Paws restart zone. We're back underway. And a good start by Lewis Flowers. How about the 5 of Scott Austin? Austin taking a look down to the inside underneath Dustin Shepard. Shepard able to roar back on the outside.
Yeah, Austin was able to get a good enough start to prevent Shepard from getting down to that bottom side, and we saw in the initial start how important it was to be on the inside lane for these corners. We'll see, though, if that's still going to be the case here on this first restart. Austin, a little slide on the inside there, or entry for the corner, so these guys are pushing hard and wearing those tires out, so it may come down later on tonight to be the whichever driver is able to baby those tires and save them just a little bit more, as Guillaume finally gets clear of the 21 of Bergner. Bergner going to find a gap, try to get to the bottom. Oh, gets a tap from Gable. Sideways Bergner, he's going to save it. Gable goes way up the racetrack, and that's going to allow Rodney Huntoon to get through on the bottom. Huntoon now trying to make his move around Adam Gable to move himself up into 6th, and just tagging along, that's Ryan Johnson. He's looking to get some more points here after seeing Brian Hacker go to the back of the field early on.
Yeah, right now, as you look down there, up Huntoon up 4, Johnson up 4. Those are our biggest movers currently. Lewis Flowers trying to work his way up through the field as well. That is how they look as the field works behind Lewis, who's opened up to a 7/10 of a second lead over Scott Austin. But I tell you, the battles in the mid-pack here, a good one as your top 8 have single filed out. Josh Nelms side by side with another rookie of Travis Sukup. Sukup fast this season. Works the outside of the 00 and Nelms. Nelms going to hold on to that position. And how about Gary Eschen up to the 12th spot as he works underneath the 55 of Negus.
And Brian Hacker has already been charging through the field. He's up to 17th after starting back in 20th. So those tires that he took have been helping him so far. But we'll see if he's able to keep them going. Oh, big slide for Hacker. Or no, that was the other two. That was Dan J and Jannon having the big slide, and that's actually allowing or giving a huge stack up in front of Hacker. As now he's got Jan on the inside and Flowers right in front of him on the outside. As Hacker has been trying to use those fresh tires to his advantage and make the moves on the outside when possible.
Yeah, and trying to get around Jan, and you got to keep those tires fresh and not abuse them, as he's going to move around the two of Jan, and now goes to the outside of Flowers. That would be for the 15th position, as Brian Hacker works the outside of that white number 40. That is Flowers. There's 2 cars. They're going to go 4 wide off of turn number 4, and I don't know how they survived to see another day out of that one. Sukup falling though like a rock in the riverbed.
Yeah, I think he got a little tap from Negus, right at the entry of the corner there, and that sent him up the racetrack and caused that big stack up. Hacker able to get through it, able to get a few more spots, so he's now up in the 13th. That definitely helps his championship chances. But still at the front of the field, it is Brandon Elvis leading over Scott Austin by about half a second now, as Austin is just trying to focus on keeping himself in front of Guillaume and keep focusing on getting a good points all here as he sits in a good solid second place.
And he has chopped off 0.3 of a second. Just a few laps to go. He was almost a second behind him. Now finds himself just a half second back and closing some more as the field works here. Brandon Elvis, your race leader over Scott Austin, Guillaume Fortin, Jeff Bergner, and Dustin Shepard up to the 5th spot. Shepard setting the Al Speed Shop fast time awarded a new track record. Rodney Huntoon, he applies their pressures. How about Ryan Johnson as well? Inside the top 10, Johnson up to the 7th spot. That's our biggest mover of the race so far. Lewis Flowers, up 7 into that 14th spot.
Yeah, Lewis Flowers able to make a number of passes so far, but we'll see how it's going to shape up at the end of the race. Just behind him, he's got Scott Negus and Randy Nichols battling it out. And then Braden Campbell just behind them, waiting for his opportunity to make a move.
And we know Nichols went around there in our first yellow flag presented by Wizards Designs. And is trying to fight his way back up through the field. Gotta believe he took some life out of those street stock Hoosier tires as he works there, and that's a good battle. Neither one of them want to give it up. Negus working the outside, Nichols down low.
Yeah, Nichols may have taken some life off of those tires, but he did not take any life off the body of the car. Somehow he managed to get out of that without any sort of damage. Maybe scraped the paint up a little bit, but that was the worst of it, as he has been battling hard with Negus. Those two getting into each other that time going into turn 1. And Nichols looked like he's been all sorts of sideways through these corners as he has just been fighting his car, trying to keep it down on the bottom. And now we're seeing Negus start to slowly pull ahead here, so maybe that outside line is starting to come in, or maybe it is starting to become a difference of tires here for these drivers.
And a little bit further, Gary Eschen under attack, Josh Nelms as well as Brian Hacker has gotten there. Matt Cook in front of him, Adam Gable. That's inside the top 10. Eschen holds on to it. close in on the lap. 53 on the books right now. A side-by-side battle is Eschen to the outside. Brian Hacker down low. And Hacker up to the 10th spot here after claiming that yellow going to the back of the field. He is starting to come up through the field. Oh, Shepard sideways and into the 12 of Huntoon. More contact. Shepard holds on to everybody hitting the hooks. Somehow we stay green.
And Ryan Johnson now getting an opportunity to get himself through there. He's now up into 6th, and now Matt Cook also finds a lane there on the bottom. He gets himself underneath Shepard. Shepard trying to fight back and trying to regain his momentum, but he also has to work on cooling off his tires after that slide. So he is a little bit down on grip, and that is going to give Matt Cook a good opportunity to make the pass here and get himself up into 7th. Oh, big slide off the corner though. And now Brian Hacker closes in. He's looking for whichever lane is going to prevail here. And I can't tell which one is going to win it so far, because there's been a couple of corners where Cook's pulled ahead, and then these last few, it has been Dustin Shepard.
Yeah, and I was going to say, not much time on this racetrack to get those tires cooled off, but the outside could be as our Wizards Design, our Mad Plowing yellow flag comes out for the second time here tonight. As I believe Braden Campbell involved with this one. Scott Negus, Tyler Sukup. Looks like we have a big one up here to bring out our second yellow flag of the evening. Let's take a look back here and see. Campbell behind the 69 of Randy Nichols. Oh,
Caught the opening of the wall.
Caught the opening of the wall, and that stacked them all up behind him. Dan Janjanin nowhere to go. We'll go on board with him. And not something you would expect there, and a tough break for those drivers is kind of a little weirdness of thing happening as everyone has come down pit road.
Wildest thing is, I actually saw that happen in my local short track not too long ago. There is a access gate very similar to that right at the base of the flag stand. Someone hit it, broke the door that held it, and just caught it with their car. And it was thankfully not quite as violent as the impact that we just had here, but it definitely caused a bit of a damper on the night, as that door had to be welded back shut.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, I believe it was Michael Waltrip at Bristol with the Kool-Aid car, where they made that contact with the access gate. It's thankfully, we're getting reports that Campbell is going to be okay after that hard hit, along with Travis Sukup. They're out both down on pit road. The crews are going to work on those race cars as they are being checked out in the infield care center. Just when we thought we've seen it all, Kelly.
Yeah, now drivers are trying to get to the choose cone here and trying to get it sorted out. There's a few drivers that are down a lap now, and while everything has been trying to get waved through the field, it's been a struggle to get to the choose cone. Now this time they are going to go to the Mad Plowing choose cone. Brandon Elvis and Scott, well, surprisingly, Scott Austin is electing to take the bottom. He is going to drop himself back to 3rd just to stay on the inside lane. And Guillaume is going to roll the dice. He's going to go to the high side and see if he can find a gap between the 4 and the 5 car.
I like the call.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't make the pass on the track, then try this, because it's, as he said, it's a hard track to pass at here tonight.
And the street sweepers have been out. The marbles are gone on that outside, so maybe you get up there and get that little extra grip momentum. You maybe keep the 4 of Elvis pinched down on the inside. I like the call.
And well, here we go. Brandon Elvis going to take the green flag and roll off down into turn 1. Guillaume not going to find that gap right off the bat. Scott Austin going to immediately try to get himself down there. Guillaume, little wiggle on the high side, getting a good run though. However, he's still got nowhere to go, but Jeff Bergener, he's going to find the bottom, so a good call for him. He's going to slot himself down there behind the 5 of Scott Austin. Now coming off of turn 2, still side by side for Fortin and Austin, while Brandon Elvis has the freedom to move wherever he wants. He's got a lot of clean track around him.
That he does, just past the halfway point of the Peach State 125. Brandon Elvis out front has led it since the green flag is dropped. Austin now going to clear Guillaume. Guillaume's got the challenge now from Jeff Bergner. Is Bergner down to the inside? How about Ryan Johnson right there as well? Brian Hacker inside the top 10 as he's trying to rebound here after being sent to the tail for yellow flag number 1. Good battle, though, for that third spot there. Still door to door. Guillaume a little bit wide, but now the mad plowing yellow flag going to come out for the 3rd time here this evening. His yellow flag will fly as Scott Negus has gone around once again. Kelly, his night going from worse to worser.
Yeah, getting a little loose off of turn 4, and that sent him around on the front straightaway. I'm sure you'll pull it up here in just a moment as he basically started a bit of a self-spin. We were talking a little bit about how the cars were loose off of the corner exit, and that is exactly what can happen to you.
Yeah, we go on board with the Sandi Paws there, and the 12 of Huntoon right there behind him, and just nowhere to go, and kind of clips him in the left rear, and around he will go and hits the inside wall. Not too hard of a tap, but he will have to replace, I believe, the front bumper and rear bumper caps for next week's season finale.
Well, he'll go to the back of the field to have a bit of a challenge ahead of him for the rest of the night. Brandon Elvis, though, still continuing to lead. And Guillaume dropped back a couple of spots, and that will maybe factor into his next decision here as we come to the mad plowing choose cone in a couple of laps. Brian Hacker has continued his charge up through the field, and he was essentially right behind one of his championship rivals with Ryan Johnson.
Looks like they are choosing this time.
Guillaume took the inside this time. Jeff Bergener elected to try his luck on the high side. Ryan Johnson as well going for it, and same with Brian Hacker.
So the field getting sorted out. This time I believe the lights will go out on the pace truck, which they do. And pay attention once in a while.
Nope, this field is stacked back up once again. Now we are on the tail half of this race here. Brandon Elvis has led every lap so far. We'll see if he can continue his domination. He rockets off of turn 4, and just Jeff Bergener not getting a great start, and that's allowed Scott Austin to immediately fill that hole once again. And this lane choice has been working out every single time so far for the driver of that 5 machine.
I mean, I like that. We know the track position is key. We also know how well that inside lane has worked all night long as the field fighting for every inch of real estate that they can. Coming to put lap 77 in the books, starting lap 78. Guillaume Fortin now going to go underneath the 21 of Bergner as they are all starting to line up. The only car working the outside right now, Bergner, and the number 2 of Brian Hacker. Hacker trying to get around the 89 of Shepard, and they've got last week's winner, Gary Eschen, who's looking to go back-to-back here at the closing stages of the season.
Yeah, you talked about last week about having the luck of either winning the race or getting wrecked out of it. Let's see what it's going to be tonight here for the driver of the 23 machine as he is trying to claw his way up towards the front. He's moved himself up into 8th place, but has not found an opportunity to get anywhere further just yet. And Brandon Elvis is continuing to open up that gap. He is 6/10 up on Scott Austin, and Austin is beyond clear track. So Brandon Elvis is putting down some good lap times right now.
And we saw this earlier on in that in the last run where Elvis took off really good, but then it seemed like Austin took a few laps his car to come in, and when he did, he started to close in on that race later. It seems to have leveled off at 0.6 of a second, so we'll see if that gap shortens as your first 4 cars all single file. Now Dustin Shepard trying to work around the number 21 of Bergner. Eschen around Brian Hacker. Matt Cook throwing his name into the ring as this battle back here for 6th, 7th, and 8th all raging on with these 5 drivers as they all watch the front 4 start to pull away just ever so slightly.
Yeah, those top 4 that have single filed have been running or been able to run faster lap times since they don't have to deal with the traffic on their outside and pinching them down on the exits of these corners. So they're continuing to open up that gap each lap as Bergener continues to fight with Shepard, which is holding up Eschen and Hacker right now. There's a bit of contact between Bergener and Shepard. Shepard going 3 wide in the middle now, still stuck in the middle, and that puts Hacker right up on the high side. 3 wide, still off of turn 4. Matt Cook on the bottom trying to see what he can do, but he has to back off, and that's going to allow Shepard to get back down to the bottom on the inside there of Brian Hacker. This is a good opportunity for Gary Eschen. He's now up into 6th and now on the inside of Bergener. Bergener getting a good run off of 4, nearly getting himself clear of the 23 car. And he find his way to the bottom. Eschen great through 1 and 2, and now he is up on the door of the 21. And another run on the good run on the inside, keeping it nice and tidy. In that line, he will be scored in a top 5 position.
Yeah, Eschen able to get through there, and the seas kind of parted for him. Now Shepard and Hacker side by side, a little bit more contact between those two as they all work here. But up front, it is still Elvis, Austin, Fortin, Johnson, and they have pulled away about 1 second over this battle as they all try to sort that out. Everyone now taking a deep breath, getting back in there as they work lap 91. 34 laps to go when they cross the stripe, and everyone trying to mind their own P's and Q's.
Something I just noticed on that 89 car of Shepard, he's got some heavy front left damage, but we've got another caution out on the track. Looks to be Brian Troyer has nosed himself into the inside wall off of turn 2.
Looks like Brian Troyer in trouble. This will slow the field down once again. Let's take a look here and see what we can find. Troyer was running by himself and just lost the handle off of turn number 2 in the field coming in, and Barney throws that yellow flag.
Yeah, no major damage to the 36. Looks like they're just a light tap on the inside, but that is going to stack our field up once again and give another opportunity to shake things up a little with the mad plowing choose cone. As we see, looks like Josh Nelms getting the wave around that time, so he'll get the lucky dog, get himself back onto the lead lap.
That puts 13 cars there. And Scott Negus is down on pit road. We've had 4 cautions for 20 laps so far, as Brandon Elvis has been your one and only leader. As they come down here, the choose. I'm kind of surprised how many people choosing that outside lane.
Yeah, Guillaume making the gamble again, and he looked like he hesitated for a moment. He definitely thought it over and then finally committed. He's going to go for the high side, hope for a better restart. Gary Eschen also taking that high side, so he's going to see if he can continue his charge towards the front, maybe go for a back-to-back here.
Can Brandon Elvis lead this thing flag to flag as we are closing in on the later stages of this event? The field rolls down into turns 3 and 4. The mad plowing yellow flag going to go away. And we are back racing here tonight in the Peach Street 125 with 28 laps to go.
Yeah, just a handful of laps left here on the schedule as Guillaume continues to try to fight for second place. And there is a big stack up right behind them, though. Brian Hacker all over the rear bumper of that 23 car. I was talking earlier tonight about Hacker not wanting to just sit back and get a few points. He's wanting to try to challenge his competitors and seal it up here tonight. He does not want Austin or Johnson to get any sort of ground gained on him, but he has got nowhere to go right now. He's got the 23 in front of him, the 21 and the 89 below him. He's completely penned in his current spot. And now it looks like Johnson starting to put some pressure in on Scott Austin as Guillaume was actually able to slot down in front of him.
Yeah, they're battling up there. Scott Austin back to the third spot, but both of the drivers that are within striking distance in front of their championship rival, Brian Hacker. Right now, the Guillaume Fortino hunting the trophy as Scott Austin starts to apply a little bit of pressure to him. Ryan Johnson has made his way up through the field here tonight as they work there through the corners.
Well, it was a big slide for Bergener right in front of Hacker. But Hacker had to check up, did not have an opportunity to take that momentum and use it to his advantage. But Bergener now might be dealing with a little bit of overheated tires, and now that's allowing the two to get to his right rear quarter panel. But that inside line is still so strong. Bergener able to slide up in front of him. Hacker going to dive down to the bottom. Contact there on the inside in 3 and 4. Hacker is going to dirt track it, somehow hang on. But that has allowed the 89 of Shepard to get to his outside. And now Shepard trying to see if he can make that pass and make it stick. But he's having to deal with that left front damage that he's got. And Hacker starting to regain control of his car.
And Randy Nichols right there into this fray as well, as he looks to try to apply the old uniform to the backside of the two of Brian Hacker, as those two made contact to bring out our first yellow flag of the evening. Randy Nichols trying to diamond off the corner, get the momentum down the back stretch, still there, 2 by 2 they roll in the turns 3 and 4, but the yellow flag will fly once again for the mad plowing yellow flags, 5th time here this evening. Just when things were starting to get good.
Yeah, that was definitely a good caution for Guillaume as Scott Austin had actually got to his inside and was actually getting ahead of him, and it was starting to bring Ryan Johnson along with him.
Take a look back here. Looks like Adam Gable in trouble. Lewis Flowers was behind him. Scott Negus to the outside, and turn 2, one of those trouble spots, and he just lost it all on his lonesome.
Yeah, it has been tough for these drivers coming off the corner. You can see just on the track how much rubber they've laid down just on the exits as they kind of basically slide up towards the wall every time. So a little bit too much on the right foot at the wrong time will send that car spinning, and we've seen it at least 3 times here tonight.
And you would say, well, these cars don't have a lot of horsepower. These tires are hard, they're tiny. In this racetrack, you have to be so hard on the gas, it's easy to light them off. As I believe this time off of turn number 4, we will get to choose this time, presented by Mad Plowing.
Well, it is actually Scott Austin electing to take the outside that time, and that is surprising. He's gone inside every single time so far tonight, and this time he'll choose to take the outside, maybe try to do what Guillaume did that last time and secure 2nd place. But this is a good opportunity for Guillaume to get himself up there, and maybe as well for Ryan Johnson if he can follow that 13 through.
It'll be interesting to see here what's going to take place as the field rolls down the back stretch. As the Mad Plowing yellow flag going to be rolled up, put back away as they go down here. Green flag is back up, and we are back underway with 13 laps to go.
A fantastic start for Guillaume, and that is going to put him side by side with the 5 of Scott Austin now, as everyone is stacked up through the field. A little bit of contact between Bergner and Hacker, a few spots back, and everyone other than our leader of Brandon Elvis looks to be 2 by 2 all through the field. No driver is wanting to give up an inch right now. A few drivers are playing it smart early on, trying to just give up the spot, slot in behind, and fight back later, but now no one is giving an inch. Scott Austin slowly pulling ahead as Guillaume gets loose off of 2. That's going to kill his momentum. Give an opportunity for Austin. Austin, though, cannot quite get clear of the 13. Can't find his way to the bottom this time. Still just at the bumper is Guillaume Fortin. Now coming off of turn 2, still side by side. Austin moving slowly further ahead, but Brandon Elvis running away while everyone else fights behind him.
Yeah, Elvis loving to see this with 9 laps to go. Is now Scott Austin, who almost had Fortin cleared, starts to feel the pressure to the left rear quarter panel from the 13. They come off the corner, still 2 by 2 stacked up. Gary Eschen trying to crack it into the top 3 for the first time tonight, as he has got some fast cars stacked up behind him. Scott Austin and Guillaume Fortin still side by side for the second spot. Austin trying to pinch down the 13 just a little bit. Both of them get a little bit loose that time off turn number 2. Austin trying to hold on to that number 2 spot as Guillaume Fortin starts to get the tires hot, starting to get that forward drive on the bottom side of the raceway.
Oh, big slide for the 23 of Eschen, and that checks him and a few drivers on the high side up. And that has now given Ryan Johnson a clear lane up high, so he's able to really roll the corners nicely, but he's got nowhere to go. The 13 and the 5 still battling side by side. Austin sliding his way through these corners. He is using everything he's got on these tires. We get down to 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go as we're on board with Ryan Johnson, trying to figure out which lane to go with. They are battling it out for the number 2 spot. Still 2 by 2 there, is right now every spot matters going into next week's season finale. But Brandon Elvis, he is out front looking to lead all 125 laps. Can he do it? 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Brandon Elvis still leading. Scott Austin now clear of Guillaume. He's going to slot down in front of him, secure second place. I don't think he's going to have enough time, as Scott Austin is a 1.5 seconds behind Brandon Elvis. White flag up in the air one last time for Brandon.
White flag is out. Brandon Elvis working down through turns 3 and 4 down the backstretch for the final time. Through 3 and 4 to Peach State 125. Checkered is up. Brandon Elvis leads it green to checkered. Scott Austin second. Fortin holds on to third. Johnson, Bergner your top 5. Randy Nichols rebounds to 6. Dustin Shepard, Brian Hacker, Scott Negus. How about that run for Negus, Kelly, into the 9th spot, and Matt Cook rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, great run here, but there was a little bit of contact on the last lap. Gary Eschen getting turned around and sent into the inside wall, so continues his streak of either winning or wrecking, as he is going to be the last car on the lead lap and pull that thing into the garage with no front end.
Number 4, who calls Myrtle Beach home, gonna take the Peach State 125. As he does the Polish victory lap, saluting the fans who came out here. He couldn't shoehorn another soul in here once again. A sellout crowd for the North-South Racing League Sandi Paws Street Stocks as he burns it down. As Brandon Elvis picks up the win here tonight. And that is his first win of the season. And did it in pretty dominating fashion, didn't he, Kelly?
Yeah, you can't dominate any more than that, leading the entirety of the race and pretty much going unchallenged. I don't think anyone was within half a second of him other than the first few laps after a restart.
Well, let's head on down as we head to our post-race show presented by SimRacerHub.com. And SimRacerHub.com, well, that's where the choice of all leagues head to at SimRacerHub.com to keep it organized. From schedules and rosters to points, stats, and standings, SimRacer Hub makes running a league simple so drivers can focus on racing. If you're looking to track your league the easy way, check out SimRacerHub.com, the official post-race show of the North-South Racing League. As we are down here in Victory Lane, the number 4 of Elvis starting to unbuckle, smiles all around. And here he is, tonight's winner, Brandon Elvis, here at the Peach State 125. And Brandon, you don't even have a sweat on you. I know it wasn't that easy.
Nah, man. I mean, it was trap position was everything, like we talked about earlier, and I had it and they didn't. That's kind of really the name of the game tonight. I felt like Scott there was probably a little bit better than me on the long run. Monte Carlo typically is a little bit better than a Camaro when you start getting 40, 50, 60 lap runs. But yeah, there's able to have some really good restarts and put a little bit of gap between us and kind of kept that buffer all night.
On that final restart there on lap 112, and they got battling side by side there behind you. Did you breathe a little sigh of relief, or were you just concentrating, looking out the front, put those horse blinders on?
Oh yeah, I mean, I looked up and did see that they were side by side, and kind of knew that was my time to really just lock in and hit my marks and capitalize on them racing hard back there. But yeah, like I said, just like you said, put the blinders on, and I'm not much of a mirror driver anyway, so it's easy for me to not look at it.
Well, you're going to come home with the win. The bad news is next week in the season finale, you got to start last, but it's 150 laps at the Nashville Fairgrounds. That racetrack, another tricky racetrack, but a fast racetrack. We're looking forward to that one. But, I mean, you ran a perfect race, came down pit road, got your service. I mean, just a perfect night. How rare are these perfect nights, especially with the amount of competition here at the North-South Racing League?
They're very rare. I mean, it starts with qualifying in the top 8 and hitting the redraw right. You know what I mean? I mean, it starts from start to finish. Practice, everything's important in this series, especially. These guys are really good, and I'm glad to say I was able to finally win one of these races. I thought I had a few that I was capable of winning, and just it didn't work out that way. And I'm just happy to get one finally.
You're going to get one here with some momentum headed in to that final race in Nashville Fairgrounds. A lot of laps there, not so many laps there. What's your feelings half in the start shotgun next week?
Really just keep the right rear underneath the car and try to stay out of the trouble. I know these cars are going to be bouncing around a lot at Nashville. It's a pretty rough racetrack, so hopefully just stay out of trouble, like I said, and just hopefully we can be out there towards the front, give them a run.
All right, sir. Well, thank you for your time. We know this one means a lot to you. We see the smile on your face, and who makes it all possible on this number 4 car to be down here in the SimRacerHub.com Victory Lane.
Yeah, my wife for letting me do this. My mom and dad always watching. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Just the performance. A little setup shop. We have a pretty good thing going with that. It's fun to still run these fixed races, but ECR, my team. I know those guys are probably watching as well. Coleman Design, BK Design for painting this car up here. Yeah, that's it. Just thanks to you guys for putting this broadcast on, and thanks to Robbie and all the guys that put this league on. It's a very fun thing to be a part of.
All right, well, congratulations, sir, on your first win here to this season. We look forward to see what you can do from the back of the pack next week. Congratulations. Let this one soak in, and don't party too hard tonight.
You ain't got to worry about that. Thanks, buddy.
All right, Brandon Elvis going to pick up his first win of the season, Kelly, as he moves into that win column here at Lanier. Finishing second, though, was the driver who's going to move ever so closer to the championship after coming home in second.
Yeah, catching up here now with Scott Austin. And Scott, a solid second place finish, but it did not come easy for you. I mean, walk us through basically the battle you had all throughout the night.
Yeah, it helped starting up front. I'm not used to that, so that was nice. I tried to just stay on the inside and kind of play it safe all night. I saw that the outside was a struggle, and more times than not, outside you get stuck behind somebody else who isn't running quite so good. So I just tried to bide my time and then finally take the dive to the outside there on that final restart.
Well, next week we're going to be moving on to the championship finale, and after tonight, you and Johnson will move a little bit closer to Brian Hacker. It is going to be a three-way battle for the title. How do you like your chances at Nashville?
It's so. I hope when the track is hot. If the track is hot, the cars are real hard to handle there, and it makes for some really, really good racing, which can also dice up the point standings and people's positions. Makes it a little easier to pass. If it's gripped up, the top lane is just fast enough to be in the way. So hopefully we get a hot track and put on a good show.
Well, you're talking about cars being a handful. They definitely look like they were a handful for you guys tonight. How were they coming off of the corners?
Yeah, I think the first half of the race was actually more so in my pocket. I felt really, really good talking to a few of the guys just now. They were a little too loose, and when we all put two tires on, it snugged the car up just enough to get them right where they wanted to be and put me over the line a little bit into the tight zone. So, wish some of those cautions never came out. I kind of had to fight a little harder on the inside than I wanted to, but all in all, happy with the P2.
Well, a solid P2 finish here for you tonight. We're going to give you the floor. Who would you like to thank for this second place finish?
First and foremost, Brian. It's been an awesome battle this year. Talking about it throughout the week. Papa Austin, he watches every week, which is awesome. Cool supporter to have. You guys for putting on a good broadcast. I really enjoy going back and watching it. All the guys in the league that race clean, race hard every week. It's a really fun place to race.
All right, well, thanks for coming out and talking to us, Scott, and hopefully we'll hear from you next week in Nashville.
Thanks, you guys. Have a good night.
So Scott Austin finishes second here tonight and moves a little bit closer to a title.
Daddy does is Brian Hacker mirrored back to the 8th spot. We'll have to see how the points shake out there as our third place finisher, and I don't think we're going to have comms with him, was Guillaume Fortin coming home in that third spot, Kelly. A great run by him, a nice rebound. We saw him fall back early on in the race and found himself battling for that number 2 spot there.
Yeah, there was a number of battles throughout the entirety of the field, but I think one driver that really had to fight was the next one you'll be catching up with here, Al.
Yeah, we'll talk to the driver of the number 38 that gets our hard charger race here, coming home in that 4th spot, Mr. Ryan Johnson. And Ryan, you didn't make it easy on yourself, starting back in that 12th spot in a tricky track and a hard track to pass on, but you're going to earn tonight's hard charger. How'd you get that one done?
Yeah, I guess I like making things difficult. I don't know what it is for what feels like forever at this point. I just can't qualify anymore. I don't know what I'm doing or not doing that's not working, but I gotta fix something here. Because yeah, I mean, most of the races this season, it's been I gotta climb through the field, and I mean it happens, sure, but I think it'd be a little easier starting more towards the front. But no, we just, I mean, tried to be patient. Took it when we could. Tried to race as clean as we could, and had a little strategy there with the choose cone and the pit stop and stuff like that. I don't know how I got third. Me and G, I think, tied at the line right there. I thought for sure he had it, and I was really kind of leery about looking to the outside there at the end, but it seemed like G used up his stuff, and he was just super sideways all the way around the track. So I thought doing that it was going to be my best shot to try and stay behind, like stay as close as I could to Scott. in the point standings. I'm not sure what happened to Hacker tonight, but little misfortune helps us out in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, we'll take it. nothing to cry about.
Headed into that final race, and as you just alluded to, going to shrink up that points lead and put the three of you guys probably within single digits of each other. What's going to be the key next week? 150 lap race. We know we'll probably get a long green flag run at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. How important are the pit stops? We know you guys will at least have to pit a minimum of one time for at least fuel next week, if not more. Will you be working on that as the week comes, as you guys get some open track testing?
Unfortunately, probably not. I don't have a whole lot of extra time to practice, but we normally get what we need to get done in practice before the race. Yeah, I mean, Nashville usually puts on a really good race. It's pretty wide, especially for these cars, so there's a lot of side-by-side. I will need to find some time to work on my qualifying a little bit, so maybe that'll give us a little better chance. But yeah, I mean, next week I think you just kind of the story of the season. You're gonna have to stay out of trouble, and you're gonna have to not make any mistakes, especially with these guys. So we're just gonna try and do what we can, see what happens. That's really all we can do, what we can control.
Yes, sir. Well, you had a great run here tonight, coming up through the field and put on a good show. I hope you had some fun, but who makes it all possible on this 38 car to be here talking on the SimRacerHub.com post-race show?
Oh, yeah, it's always fun racing with these guys. I've got to thank the admins at NSRL putting the league on. You guys have been in the booth for broadcasting, DCD for my paint, my teammates, everybody tuning in and watching, and all the drivers for another good race tonight. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right, sir. Well, we thank you for your time. Enjoy this one. Safe travels to Nashville, and we hope to see you there next week.
Thanks, buddy.
Ryan Johnson going to come home third, Kelly, as that was a dead heat. My scoring is showing Guillaume Fortin in that third spot, but we'll have to wait for the official. There's Brandon Elvis was your winner here tonight. Final thoughts as we head down the road one more time to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedways in 1 week's time.
I think this is the best we could have asked for this race. We had some tight elbows out racing, a little bit of bumping and banging, and what it really did though is tighten up our points chase coming into the final race of the season. So it's now going to come down to a three-way battle, and none of those guys will be getting the EOL next week either. So it is going to be a complete heads-up fight. So between Johnson, Austin, and Hacker, and we'll see who's going to be able to come away with the title next week.
Yeah, it's going to be there. You're not going to want to miss it. Next week, make a little extra popcorn. Our final showdown race of the season at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. It's going to be one for the ages. But tonight was another fantastic race. Brandon Elvis putting it together, getting his first win here in the North-South Racing League Sandi Paws Street Stock Series, and we can't thank them enough for being our title sponsor of this season, and along with all of our other sponsors, RC2 Promotions and Graphics. If you want to look good on and off the racetrack with your league, RC2 Graphics is the place to go. Our championship award designer, Wizards Designs. Make sure you stop on over to Facebook. Check out what they can do for you. Are very handy and got some really cool looking items. Scott Austin can make you look good on the racetrack here. Is Austin Designs, a proud sponsor of the North-South Racing Leagues. Check out Scott Austin on Facebook. Zufab Garage. Stop on down, get your car tuned up. Need that performance installed? Well, Zufab Garage is the place to go. J&G Hardwood Flooring. And Mad Plowing out of Oregon, Wisconsin's winter is coming. Give them a call to get set up for all of your snow removal needs. Well, Kelly, that will do it for us here. Next week, the season finale, the checkered flag on the street stocks. And we'll talk about what to expect coming up after the street stocks are put to bed. But next week, we will crown a champion in what is going to be an ever important race. It's going to be really tight. We hope to see you there. But for Kelly et al., I am Upstate Al, and we hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And we'll see you in Turn 3. Good night, everybody.